This is the story of the newest denizen of the cave.
Rusty tier 3 for
This is the
84
story
months.
of the newest denizen of the cave.
UPS tried to give Taffy a day to recover. It would not have been the worst thing, but damn, I've just been gone for so long. Law Thriller, 3 months, 29 in total, tier 1. Thank you. Yeah, I came into this noise. Hold on if I can do this real quick. So that was the noise my UPS made. And it wouldn't stop making it. It just went and went and went and went and went. And so I unplugged it and I unplugged the battery and I just plugged everything into the wall. Yeah, I don't care for that noise at all. That is not an everything's going great noise. But the problem is that my router interprets any sort of interruption in electrical input as like a power outage. And frankly, every time the power's gone out, I've had to recreate the SSID. Like, I've had to recreate the network from scratch. So I had to recreate the network because the router was acting as though there was no network anymore. That obviously took a little while. I meant to try to start on time this morning, but it turns out that my old ass body, after a day of mostly day drinking and travel, I got upgraded to first class. Because my first flight was so delayed that I was gonna miss my connection in Atlanta. And the nice lady that was helping me rebook looked down and saw that I was on Comfort Plus, called the lady and was like, "Hey, that flight, there's a different flight to Atlanta that was supposed to leave at 6 in the morning. Instead, it left at almost noon." And they're like, "Can we get Mr. Caps on that noon flight? That noon delay?" Uh-huh. He's first class. Do you have any seats open in first? And I was like, oh. So I got a little Greek chicken salad and a whole bunch of Bloody Marys. And then I got to Atlanta and finally with my new doubly card. Yeah, she saw that reserve card action. It was just like, oh, Mr. Cap should be in first class. And I was like, I really should be. I got to the Delta Lounge in Atlanta, had a couple of old fashions and some kale and tofu. I don't know. It was a hot dish with kale and tofu. Some sort of tomato sauce. It was good. A couple of little caprese sliders. I ended up getting home, but Delta didn't know. I think Delta like dead ass lost track of me. Because while I was in the air at like midnight flying back to Richmond, they were sending me vouchers for a hotel and free food in Atlanta because they were working under the assumption that I'd missed my connection. Yeah, honestly, Jay, if I'd had a Starbucks gift card, my ass would have handed her a Starbucks gift card and been like, you stay caffeinated for the week on old Uncle Taffy. Taffy, why do vegetables and fruit make you go to the bathroom? Because they are produce. Boy. Well, it's been nice visiting with you guys. I should probably leave for another week now. Man, I tell you, it was really good to get back in the chair. I'll catch y'all in October. I'm going to try to do like a really quick rundown of packs, and then I'll just play the Bazaar and we'll chat over the top of it. Got in on Thursday night. People I saw, Sachi, Diana, Heather, Nate, Nicole from Sub Pop, Flame Goat. Hung out with them straight away from the airport. Went to Nate's place. Last night was the first night in a week I've slept in a bed. I was on a cot and then one night on a couch. It wasn't bad, but it's not the same as sleeping in your own bed. Thanks, Stevie. I missed you guys too. I saw Robert. I saw Jordan, the guy who's making our table. I gotta find a better photograph, but like, sorry about the gut here. I'm trying to get rid of that. But that's Scotty K Fitness. Seriously though, fuck V-Shred. And Nate showing Scotty and Nate's home gym, which is pretty cool. In the bowl. Yeah, Nate, you and me both, brother. I fucking woof. I saw those photos that Nicole shot, and I was like, I'll only send them to you if I can find one that doesn't make both of us look like we fucking just crawled out of the fucking tar pits. Standing next to Scotty makes it so much worse. That's not right. Boop. This was Jordan's space. This is our table. Oh yeah, collab video. Yeah, no, he came and talked to us, was nice enough to come out to Nate's party. He made it, you know, like talked about how cool the gym was. He and his friends hung out for a while. They hung out for like an hour or two. And then they dipped. Yeah, Scotty is ripped as a motherfucker. Yeah, it was rough standing next to like the most in shape dude I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, that's our table. Every time I was sitting there with like Sachi, I'd say like people would walk by and I'd see them like stroking the table. And there was a chair over here I called my cuck chair, where I just watched people walk by and drag their hands on my table. And I was like, oh, you like that? Yeah, it belongs to me, but I'll let you borrow it, as long as you treat her right.
This is the story of the newest denizen of the cave.
But then they'd ask me questions about it because I had an exhibitor badge because Noah dipped. And that's a whole fucking story. I guess I should tell that one too. But they'd be asking me questions and be like, oh, is it, solid wood? And I'm like, absolutely, black walnut. And whenever I said my table, Sachi would pop up from behind me and go, our table. Because Sachi's moving to Richmond and is going to play a lot of D&D on that table. But like every time I said my table, my little tiny Asian sister would pop up over my shoulder like fucking Zoe from K-pop Demon Hunters and would go, our table, and get like a little gremlin smile on her face. Jason Man, tier 1, 45 months. Sounds good. I'll catch on the flip. Thank you for the resub. Yeah, that was the oh, sorry, my voice has been fried. I've been living on cough drops the last week. The trip up was a fucking something. It was something. Noah and I got on a train to go to DC because the flight was cheaper by like $300 or $400, and it was a direct flight from DC to Seattle. And we're on the train, and Noah's like, man, I did not sleep last night. I've got like a stomach bug, and it's been coming out of both ends. I was at patient first this morning. And I was like, oh no, are you okay? And he's like, no, I'll rally, I'm good. And so we're heading up on the train, and he's kind of peaked, but he's getting better. We get up there pretty early. We go to the Delta Lounge. We're just hanging out. I'm playing the Bazaar on my laptop. 15 minutes before boarding, the lady says, I need people with flexible travel schedules to come up here and potentially talk to me about getting a $500 voucher for leaving on a different flight. And I was genuinely going like, damn, I could get into Seattle a little bit later and get my company a $500 travel voucher. And before the words could even come out of my mouth, Noah goes, I can't go, man. I feel awful. I'm so sorry. And he walked up to the table and said, I'll take the voucher and I want to cancel my ticket altogether. I'm going home. And he came back and he was just like, I have faith in you. I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. I have to go home. And then he went home. And I was just like, all right, I'll pitch Wizards of the Coast on your book idea. Like, that's where I was like, oh no. I was like, I have to go pitch Noah's book idea to Wizards of the Coast without him. Now, fortunately, I was supposed to meet my contact who's like really pretty goddamn high up at Wizards. It was just a random friend that we made at Gen Con. And he's super cool. We talked to him for an hour before we even knew what he did. And then met him at Gen Con. We were supposed to meet at the Wizards offices, but he got roped into doing stuff on the floor. So he met me at the end of the first day. I pitched him on the book. He asked for a one-pager, like a one-page pitch sheet. I felt like I was told by people around me that I crushed it, because I had to do this pitch in public surrounded by all my friends after a couple of drinks. So I went home, talked to Noah, had him send a one-pager, doctored it up a little bit. And then on Monday, I went and had pho for lunch with the same dude, gave him the oneer. We really didn't talk business that entire 90 minutes. And towards the end, he did glance at the oneer and just was like, he's like, I'll run this up the flagpole and we'll see what happens. And he was looking at it and he's like, this is pretty good. And like gave me a hug. And my man is coming to the Nova Arcade concert in Seattle in October. So I feel like that went well. Was on Ryan Weller's stream. Yeah, that's right. Nova Arcade dropped a track while we were there. Domino is live now. This is Nate's favorite track off the upcoming album. There is a very useful link should you want to check out the synthwave band that is every bit as good as anything that Fixed put out back in the day, my friends. I know a lot of us are big Fixed fans because of like Prism and whatnot, but sometimes Fixed do be letting people slip through their fingers. And we were quick to zip in there and grab what we saw as a very talented act. Spent a lot of time at the Voodoo Ranger booth. Hung out at Nate's house a lot with Nicole from Hopeless, Draskia, Heather, obviously. Nate and Heather had a house party. Heather made carnitas. Nate made hot dogs. Heather made homemade corn tortillas. And they had over all sorts of people. So like Scotty K Fitness came in. Cassie, who's the creative lead at Ironwood Studios, the people who make Pacific Drive, was there. She and I had a long conversation. Robert Bowling, I don't know if you guys remember Robert Bowling, used to be the community manager for Call of Duty back during the peak machinima days. Robert and his wife came out and hung out. They're also now in the independent music scene up in Seattle, which is fucking cool. Oh, 402. Omni Waffle was out there. Fucking love us some Alex, man. Love us some Omni Waffle. Trotter was out there. There was a girl who's like a Fallout cosplayer who insisted on squatting me, so that happened. Diana came out. Garrett came out. Sachi came out. We decided that Sachi is Twitch's answer to Zoe from K-Pop Demon Hunters. Yeah, AF Kate. That's right. I didn't get to spend any time with them. I only got to see them when they were basically leaving. Yeah, Oppenheimer. I was talking to this lady who's very pretty and like came in with Scotty and is very nice. Was very kind. And then at one point, like, we'd had a couple beers, but she was just like, I want to squat you. This is what I do with people who are my friends. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she's like, I want to squat you. And I was like, okay. She turned around and was like, get on my back. And I was like, you realize I have the density of a dying fucking star. I'm terrified. I'm gonna, like, when I said I wanted to break a hot cosplayer's back, this is not what I meant. I was speaking in metaphor. And then sure enough, she just started, how much do you weigh now? Probably like 240? I probably put 15 of the 50 pounds back on. I'm dialing it back in. I'm probably gonna go to the gym tonight, but like we ended up entertaining people. We watched K-Pop Demon Hunters 3.5 times that night. We got like drunk. I got a little bit stoned, and we made a big old cuddle puddle down in Nate's basement of like 15 people, all essentially in a pile. And we just watched K-Pop Demon Hunters, and then somebody would eventually come in and say, "Oh, I've never seen this before," and we just started over again. We had a nice dinner with George from Leviathan Core. Really, really good pizza. Heather took us on a tour of the Sub Pop offices, and I took a shit in the bathroom stall that was right next to Nirvana's gold album for Bleach. So I defiled the bathroom of the same building that has a piece of drywall where Kurt Cobain wrote his home address in a temper tantrum. I really feel like that's it. If you distill it down to its like most basic form, I feel like that's the whole trip. There was a lot of that, and there were a lot of people that I talked to that frankly y'all just won't know. But a lot of my work was done for the book and was done in the tabletop space. The Only Ryan did take me around and like march me past some people in the interest of maintaining the whole Noah dog walks Taffy through the con situation. So yeah, that was really it. Was just like there was just a lot of selling the book. There was a lot of being in the TTRPG space. I did get gifts for the boys. So I got them this pin that has all these adventurers with like broken limbs with arrows and let's see if I can just do this. It says it started out as a fetch quest. So I thought that was pretty good. Sham! I got to see Sham too, which was fucking great. I got both the boys that pin. And they got Amber a pin that was, it's green. You're gonna have to trust me, but it's a T-Dragon. I wore my Punch Nazis shirt to the floor. And I had a PAX enforcer, blonde lady, probably half my age, came up to me and goes, "Excuse me, sir." And I was like, oh no, did I do something? Like I genuinely, instinctively thought I was in trouble. And she goes, "I need to give you a star," which is apparently something enforcers can do if they think you're being super cool. And I was like, what do I get a star for? And she goes, "My family's from Poland and they were run out of their houses by the Nazis in World War II. So yeah, I like the idea of punching Nazis." And I was like, oh yeah. Next one I find, I punch for you, my lady. Like, yes. And as I was walking through the floor, Matt Fantastic, who made the shirt, hands me a sticker, which may promptly go on my van. And then, shoot, there was I've got the card somewhere. There's a person who made these really expensive but high quality wooden donuts that are dice cases. And I was admiring, here it is. Dodeca Donuts. Dodeca Donuts. And he complimented my shirts and then gave me this complimentary sticker. I found this, there's like a young Asian lady who was selling stuff. Who I only mentioned it because like she was very in her element and seemed like very like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go up to this woman and it's gonna be very like K-pop Demon Hunters, like she's gonna be confident and all that kind of stuff, because her booth was really cool. And I was just like, hey, I'd like to buy some shirts. And she acted like sort of surprised, and I was like, yeah, I just want, I'll get one for each one of my family. Honestly, Sham, like I only walked around like twice, but one time did cost me a lot of money. So I got
anchors up. Just waiting for your command.
You shut your ass up, Vanessa. I got a shirt for Rory. And then I got a shirt for Grayson. And then I got a shirt for Amber. And then I got a shirt for me that says, "I am not food." So, and I just, I was surprised. Like I said, the lady that sold them to me, I don't know if this is her brand's name, but she gave me these stickers that say Spong, which she said was the act of absorbing chaotic energy. But she acted genuinely surprised that I would like buy her stuff, and I was like, this is fucking great. Like, you should be selling more. It was just a nice alternative to like just grabbing your standard like D&D, your standard like D&D things. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in the Voodoo Ranger Lounge. Saw a meeting go down that I cannot talk about, but that was fucking nuts. Saw Patrick, our contact at Voodoo Ranger, still a great guy. Any markers on the shirt? They actually come with like, so like, mine has, it has a lot of like, sort of like, control style SCP stuff on it. Safety data. I am not food t-shirt. The I am not food t-shirt does not guarantee absolute invincibility against all forms of extraterrestrial threats. Please exercise caution and consult local authorities in case of imminent alien contact. The manufacturer is not responsible for any failed attempts to deter or repel invading aliens. The shirt's effectiveness in repelling or deterring alien life forms is purely speculative and may vary depending on the species, their level of hunger, or their ability to interpret human fashion. Choose your wardrobe at your own risk. XL Infinite Vibe Layer, quote, you bought a shirt, now it comes with consequences. ADHD, attention deficit. Hey, donuts. That feels right. These guys were great. Look at this. Look at how cool these things look. These are all dice boxes. I didn't get any though because ultimately they were like 125 a pop. After School Satan Club was one of my favorite. Was one of my favorite stickers that they had. Look at that. How crazy is that, right? I genuinely wanted to take a bite out of these dice cases. So pretty. Good old, yeah, the gay donut called my name.